Hey guys, today we are going to learn how to add two integers in C programming language. And if you are new or know some things about C programming, then follow along. I promise after this lesson, you could write some basic C programming with addition. So before going into, please hit the subscribe button and notification icon to be notified for future updates. So let's get into it. So in this lesson, we are going to follow three steps to write our C program. So first step is going to be declaration. Second step is going to be assignment. And third step is going to be our calculation part. In C programming language, there are some special creatures called variables. So what are the variables? So variables are something like a storage box that stores something. So you could ask me that what does this variable store? So a variable actually stores something like integers, something like characters, something like decimal values. So as here we are adding two integers, so we really need to know about integer variables that stores integers. So now we know that a integer variable could store an integer, so we could go to our first step, that is declaration, to find out what can a variable do. So as we are in the declaration part, we could do some declaration in C programming, as I said before. So let's ask C to give us those boxes where we could store our integers. That is, we could store our integers in some variables. So let's ask C to give us those boxes. So, okay, C gave us two boxes in which we could declare our variables. So, okay, so there are two boxes, but how could we differentiate in between? So C asked us two names for these boxes that we could give actually. So what should be those names? So as we are storing two integer numbers, so it makes sense to give num1 and num2. Okay, so as we are storing integer variables, it makes sense that this box should be integer boxes. So okay, so now we will define those boxes as our integer boxes by writing some line of code, actual code, like int num1 with semicolon and int num2 with semicolon. So we are defining to see that, okay, so first variable is named as num1 and it is of integer type, and similarly second variable is named as num2 and it is of integer type. So this is the declaration of those variables in C. As of now, we have completed our declaration part and we are now in our assignment part. So what is an assignment? So assignment means to assign some values to our variables. That makes sense actually. So how could we assign some values to our variables? So we have two boxes, right? So if I have my first box like num1, how could I assign some values like 32 to the first box? Okay, so here we could do that. So num1 with the equal sign and with the value. Yeah, you heard of that, right? That some variable name with the equal sign, we could assign some values to our variables. Similarly, to the second box, we could assign something like 43, that is num2 equals to 43. So that is your assignment or assignment method in C programming to a variable. Okay, now we have completed two steps, that is declaration and assignment. So now we are in our third step, that is calculation. Okay, so now I will test you, so what you have learned actually. So I have said in first step that we could declare some variable. So as we are adding two integers, so there will be another integer in result. So how could we store that integer? So we could create another variable like int result. Why not? So how could we assign that? So as we are adding two integer values, so we could assign like result equals to num1 plus num2. Okay, so we are adding two numbers or integers and assigning them with an equal sign to our result variable. Okay, so that is your calculation. We are storing that calculated value in another variable or another box. So why we are doing that? We will find that out in our next section of our video. So you have completed those three steps, right? We are here in code blocks to execute those three steps to see whether that C program is actually working or not. So the first step to declare some integer variables like int num1 semicolon and int num2 with a semicolon. And that was our first step. So next step to assign some values like num1 is equals to 32 semicolon and num2 is equals to 43 with a semicolon. So that was our assignment step. So third step was to calculate those addition values. So before that we will initialize another variable like int result to store that addition value. So we have stored like result is equals to num1 plus num2. Okay, so that was our program in 3 steps. So how are we going to print that result value to see whether this program is actually working or not? So if you don't know C programming or if you know C programming, don't worry, just follow along to print that result value. So just write this simple statement. Okay, so we have to write print f with brackets and double quotes. In that double quote we will write %d, and we will come out of that double quote and we'll write a comma and we will write result. Okay, so that is our statement to print the result value that we could see. Okay, so we will going to build and run our program to see whether this program is actually adding those two integer value or not. Okay, so be ready. Okay, so 32 plus 43 is equals to 75. So that is your program adding two integer values together and printing out. Okay, I hope you have liked this video, and if you have any problems or any doubts, you could ask me in the comment section. I will answer those questions. And please do subscribe to my channel and hit the notification icon to get notified whenever I will put another video. And okay, so peace and have a nice day.